Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to another Sunday Q&A. And it's Mother's Day, so huge shout out to all the mamas out there, soon-to-be mothers, especially of starseed children, but also older mothers as well. I just want to say thank you for being here, especially in this community where it's obvious that you have given the world a gift, and that is the gift of your vibration, of your knowledge, of your nurturing. Because when we become a mother, and I'm not there yet, we step, but she will be watching after. And I just want to say that my mom has been the most supportive, the most caring, the most nurturing woman in my entire life, and she has really taught me how to be this divine feminine, emotional being, and she supported me through and through, and now I can say that we are best friends. And I know that my mom is going through issues with her parents, and it is so obvious to see that her parents and that generation just didn't have the emotional intelligence to give her what she needed as a child. And I am so grateful that she was able to turn around that lack into abundance and give me everything I needed in childhood, regardless of how much money or materials we had. She gave me that unconditional love and has never stopped giving me unconditional love since then. So huge shout out to my own mom. Happy Mother's Day. I love you so, so, so much. And I honestly could not be here with the kind of tenacity and vibration and confidence that I have if I didn't have you in my life. So thank you. Can we just talk about May for a second? I mean, this has, what are we? We're May 9th, obviously. This has been one of the most challenging months in general, I think, for all of us. Hopefully I'm speaking for everyone where, emotionally, it has been intense. Vibrationally, it's been intense. Opportunity-wise, it's been intense. It's been a lot of everything all at once. And May is the energy of new beginnings, which means that you are going to receive opportunities, maybe an opportunity to change your job or to get a new living situation, maybe an opportunity to meet a new friend, maybe an opportunity for a new, business contract or client, which is great. But upon receiving new opportunities in the month of May, we are also needing and being forced to say no to the opportunities that don't align with us right now in this moment. If you are like me and you are unable to say no as often as you probably should, then you're also going to get caught up in living within a lot of obligation by the end of May. You're going to get very overwhelmed because you've said yes to too many things, and it's going to be kind of a rocky road, right? So all these beautiful, good new things, but also all of the purging of the old things. Because if you don't say no, you're going to get stuck in overwhelm. If you do say no, you are going to be met with the energy and vibration of resistance upon saying no, if that makes sense, right? So it's a lot. It is a lot all at once. That is the energy of May. So I want to say, hang in there. You are definitely not alone, all right? We are all feeling the pains of the new stuff and the old stuff. And I also want to remind people that what I've observed in my own life, which is a very small pocket of the world, is that all of these men, maybe some younger men, but especially older men, the ones who haven't changed, the ones who are still in their autopilot programming, are all getting hit hard with an ego death right now at this time. Do not take on their energy as your own. Do not blame yourself for their actions, reactions, and emotions. And create healthy boundaries between these men in your life who are completely collapsing and having an ego death and projecting all their shit on you. It is not your fault, all right? So relax a little bit. If you find that you are having an ego death and you're watching this right now, first of all, thank you for being here. Triggers, reactions, emotions. It's been a roller coaster ride, especially this past month. So hang in there, and maybe you need to find some time of neutrality and separate yourself from other people while you are just kind of hanging out in this weird liminal place. All right, hopefully this resonates with you. Thank you so much, Mia. Thank you, Linda, for those beautiful super chats. And thank you to all of my members, as always, for being here, for just showing up and creating this beautiful community and asking your questions every single week. So if you have been thinking about being a member but you haven't already, definitely sign up. I highly recommend it. And we've actually got our membership coaching call happening not tomorrow, as I keep mentioning. I always say it's Monday. I don't know. It's so bizarre how I'm like convinced all of this stuff is happening Monday. It's not. It's happening Tuesday. That is Tuesday, May 11th. Both the coaching call, which is going to be at 10 a.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I believe 6 or 7 p.m. Central European Time. So I had it early enough that it kind of hits all of the time zones. And then we have, of course, our Galactic Federation meeting, and that's also happening on Tuesday, May 11th, and that's going to be happening at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So definitely check that out. If you haven't already gotten your tickets for the Galactic Federation event, we just opened up the Zoom room to have more participants in, which is great because that also means we can have more participants in the coaching call as well. So I'm really excited about that. I have had other months where both of them land on the same day, and I think it's beautiful. I really love that kind of day to connect with the entire community. So I'm excited for that. I also want to mention too that I have been presented with two of the biggest career opportunities I think that I've ever received. So I can't really say much more about them, but I will be flying out this week for one of those career opportunities. And ultimately, these opportunities are going to allow me to connect with the mainstream world. So far, so good. I mean, every single step of these opportunities has been easy, it's been aligned, and it really has been in the highest vibration. So I'm just setting the intention almost on a daily basis that I'm able to connect with millions of people all over the world who have questioned their reality, questioned the nature of this matrix, maybe even questioned interdimensional life, and can open their minds a little bit further to allow this content to settle into their frequency and help them take their power back in such an uncertain world. That is my highest intention, and I believe that that is possible right now at this time. I am so freaking ready to take this next big step, and I am so excited that all of you found me before I take that big step into the mainstream world, because you are my team. I want to say you're my army. It sounds a little culty, so I'm not going to go there, but you're my team. Like, let's work together to shift the frequency, and you are the ones who are shifting your frequency, even if you just woke up in 2020 before the rest of the world. So we need you, right? This is so, so important. Thank you so much, Starseed Kate, for both of those super chats. I don't know if that was a glitch, but I really appreciate that. Thank you, Jenny Johnson, so much for those super chats. Thank you, community, once again, for supporting me every step of the way. Every day I wake up feeling grateful, even if it's a day full of emotion and trigger and challenge and complication and overwhelm, I feel grateful. Speaking of overwhelm, I spent 3 days in a studio, basically 5 hours a day, reading my own book. I want to say that there's something about the content of that book, obviously, the words, but also just pairing the reading. I don't know if it's like my own voice or the vibration that was created by reading those words, but it seriously created a shift in me. It was really beautiful. I mean, obviously I've read my own book before, but I've never read it out loud. And I just hope that that creates the shift in you that I felt that it created in me, which is silly to think that my own book created a shift in me, but wow, it was just so powerful. It was so powerful, and I feel even more confident in it now that I've reread it, especially out loud. It has a lot of mistakes, like spelling mistakes and like repeated sentences, as I'm sure you guys have noticed too, but it doesn't matter because the content was just so impactful. Okay, what else did I want to mention? Okay, yes, and last but not least, as I was chatting with all of my members before hopping in today, I did learn that the Queen is officially moving out of Buckingham Palace, which is pretty cool. So I guess she goes between that and the other one, I forget what the name was, often, but she's officially moving out of Buckingham. I think that is such an amazing sign and validation that the vibration is so high in Buckingham because we took over that portal. That things are changing, things are moving. And I know that once I settle into kind of my new life that we're switching over into, being a bit of a farm girl, I can't wait to go back in and do other portal activations in the future. And we maxed out at our capacity in the Zoom room. We had 1,000 people, and when someone left, someone else came back in for the portal, the battle at Buckingham. And I'm so excited to do something like that again. Like I said, I think we can have 3,000 people in the Zoom room now. So I'm excited to bring in even more people for an event like that. It is just so powerful. If you haven't already seen the play-by-play event of the battle at Buckingham, that is up on the membership page in YouTube. So please keep that in mind. Last but not least, I want to mention something. I'm going to be uploading the video, the interview with Magenta Pixie. I also have another interview with Sean, which was really great, that I'm going to be uploading. So I've got a bunch of content for YouTube that I'm going to be uploading. But I want to talk a little bit about the V, okay, for a second before we deep dive into all these great questions. Last night, my wife surprised us with a massage. It was literally so amazing. The guy came to our house, set up the table, and one of the first things he said was, "Oh, don't worry about wearing your mask because I've been V'd." And, obviously the first thought in my mind is all the fear that is out there about people who have been V'd. And it's funny because that's not my fear. I've never channeled that. So that's not in my reality. The only reason why that's in my reality is because the community is saying that is a reality. So I did my uploading technique, put a bubble around myself, and I was able to absorb everything that I needed in that 1 hour massage from this beautiful, clearly energy worker while I was on the table. But if you could imagine, right? I mean, like, body to body contact, right? I mean, that's the place where you're gonna take on negative effects of the V if that were the case. zero negative effects, did all my energy work, and I was also able to relax. And the coolest thing was when Nat got her massage right after me, she was getting contacted by the mantis beings all throughout her massage. She's like, I was seeing giant praying mantis beings in my freaking third eye, which, first of all, she's clairaudient, not clairvoyant. And she's like, yeah, they had a message. We didn't even get around to asking what that message was, but she said, I really think this guy was a mantis being. She's like, do you think that he knows? And I'm like, no, I don't think that he knows. But how powerful and amazing was that, okay? So I just want to continue to relay to my entire community that I have zero fear, all right, around the V, people who have had the V, and the effects that it can have on our body. I could walk out and get hit by a car tomorrow, and I'm not walking around with the fear that that's going to be the case. All right? You set your intentions, you do the energy work without fear. And that's so, so important. Like, it is so important. And that's why I got super passionate in the Magenta Pixie video about this stuff, because we cannot have a conscious, spiritual, awakened community projecting fear into the future reality of this planet, and hide away and go live in a cave because of what could potentially happen. We need to raise our vibrations. It doesn't mean that it's a good or bad thing. It just means that we need to be aware of those negative effects and live our lives appropriately. Not hiding away from the negative effects, but raising our vibration around them. And that is very clearly stated in the end of my book as well. The last 2 chapters talk all about not the choice or the thing itself, it's the vibration behind the choice. All right? So I'm just letting you all know on the decisions that I'm doing in my life and how unaffected I am and how beautiful and free I feel living in a city like Los Angeles. All right? Cool. Let's move on. All right, first question here from Woke Pixie. You come around often. Everyone loves your questions. I love your questions, so thank you. Okay, Bill Yates. I'm mispronouncing his name for a reason. This man just seems so evil to me, and his wife now looks completely different than she used to. Can you cloak up and astral travel to find out his true agenda? Also, right after I posted this question, it was announced that they're divorcing, along with Bezos, who stepped down as CEO. Nothing is coincidence. All right. I agree, Woke Pixie. Let's deep dive into this. I want to say that I have looked into Bill Yates before. And I was really blocked, and there was a lot of like dark energy around him when I looked in the last time, which was not too long ago, like maybe a year ago. Let's just see if I can astral travel over there. Let's see if I can maybe pick up on any of those agendas. Anything with Bezos stepping down. I mean, let's just see what comes around. So 1 second. Interesting. Okay, so he is really in a dark place right now. I mean, I think this guy is, I think he's pretty corrupt, pretty evil. He's definitely a part of that upper echelon, you know, top of the pyramid type of position. Yeah, just the word nefarious really comes up here. So I wasn't able to tap into him. Like I said, he is like fuming. Like he is so not in a good place. Just darkness, like just this dark, dark cloud all around him. And then all these entities all around him as well. And yeah, my ear just popped. So I wasn't able to really take a look at him, his agendas, really anything going on there. Obviously, they're nefarious. Obviously, he's a part of that agenda. I don't know to what extent. And I think it would be unfair to make assumptions. Once again, it's important to kind of know about these conspiracies, but it's also important not to get necessarily wrapped up in all of these conspiracies, if that makes sense. His wife, however, I was really able to tune into. I don't know if she's just broken free of the chains, the manipulation, the I don't know what. She's broken free of something because she was very clear to tap into. Now, I can see actually her intention behind all of this. She basically, I don't know, this is just what I picked up on. She's basically at this point where she's done with his nefarious stuff. Potentially, I don't really want to mention it. But all of the things the shapeshifters do, she's basically done with all of that BS that he's doing. And I don't know what her deal is. Like, she feels very human. She could be a shapeshifter, but she feels very human. And she said, I'm done and I'm breaking it off, right? And so she's, and I think that that's been in her mind for quite some time, which is funny because, of course, they depict this perfect, been together for 25 years type of marriage relationship. So finally, she said, I'm not pretending anymore. I want my freedom. And she's putting her foot down. Now, that is breaking a little bit of the illusion between the perception of him and the mainstream media, okay? Now, he said that he will allow the divorce to happen, but in the kindest way possible, which means press conferences, media outlets, all of these interviews saying, oh, it's a mutual decision and life is just too overwhelming and this is where we're at and whatever. Okay. So, her future does not look as free as I think that she wants it to be because she knows too much. So it feels like she is either going to go away, and it feels like, I don't know if it's a private island, I don't know if it's another country, I don't know if she just goes away and she's put under the radar, and it actually feels like there will be, it almost feels like a secret agent, not a secret agent, but like a bodyguard that's going to be around her to make sure that she does not disclose information that she has, okay? Or, unfortunately, the other kind of fate that I see her going into is a sudden death or passing, all right? And it will look like a natural thing because, once again, she just knows too much. And it would, if that was the case, it would also have to be something that is generally accepted by humanity. It can't make a huge stir in the media, if that makes sense, all right? Oh, she had a prior precondition, or it was just so sudden in the middle of the night, or it was a suicide attempt, or I don't know, something, all right? So I just want to say that that's kind of what I see. Once again, we need to understand that these agendas are at play and that there's people who are involved in them, but we can't allow that to be an all-consuming factor in our lives. That's all I was able to see. Really not a whole lot on him, but I will say something just interesting that I noticed last night when I made the thumbnail for this video. I was unable to find one bad picture of Bill Yates. Okay, he was always smiling, and it was like, to really need to project a facade like this is just interesting. So I always laugh at the thumbnail that I chose and the photo that I chose because he's like, look at this V that I have, everyone needs it. I don't know, it's just a really, just interesting moment that was captured. All right, moving on. Gay Paddish. So, if I passed away today, will I meet my parents who passed away 8 to 10 years ago? What if they have reincarnated into new lives? This actually goes for my grandparents and anyone else as well. Thank you. Okay, perfect. So let's talk about the afterlife a little bit here. I want to say that it is very uncommon to have people pass away and reincarnate right away. I have had a handful of cases with the thousands of clients that I've channeled where their parent gets reincarnated actually as their daughter, which was a very bizarre case that I had, but also very fascinating. Very, very, very rare that this happens. The reason why is because usually a spirit or a soul needs quite a long period of time to recoup their energy and their frequency and deal with the emotions that they were dealing with as a human being in this lifetime. So they need quite some time. So typically you will reincarnate and meet your passed away loved ones almost instantly. If anything, they will help you through that white light portal over to the other side. And the other thing too is, even if your loved ones have reincarnated, what I tend to find is they will actually be able to visit you and come back as their astral body, showing up as your grandparent or as your parent. All right. So say, for example, your grandparent is reincarnated on this planet as a baby cheetah, and they are still living their baby cheetah lives while they actually astral travel, form fit into the grandfather that you once knew, and visit you. So we need to realize that within the astral realm, everything is possible to coexist and to happen, and is happening simultaneously. So it's really not as linear as we perceive life to be here right now at this time. All right, moving on. Linda, do you know anyone who has actually ascended to 5D yet? Not just moments of 5D, gone through the whole journey and are out on the other side. Okay. So when I think about this question, I think about someone who has, left their life in the Western world and who's living on a beach in Costa Rica and has created a new life, and every day is sun and waves and surfing and floating in the ocean and talking to the jellyfish and all of those things. That really feels like a 5D life, really, because they've exited the matrix, right? They don't really have to deal with the mask wearing and the bullshit and the projection and the whatever of society. Even that person who has ascended into 5D is still going to experience 3D days, okay? So as far as, do I know anyone who has ultimately made the move into 5D? No, I don't. I personally do not. Doesn't mean that it's not a thing. But if I were to give you a lineup of individuals, and say, for example, you shut off your intuitive and empathic abilities, so you're just looking at people, and I ask you, point out the people who are in 5D and point out the people who are in 3D. You're not going to be able to tell the difference. All right? Right now, all of us have 5D days and we have 3D days. The reason why is because the planet is so freaking dense right now. And even in my own life, like I would say I'm probably 70 to 80%, maybe less than that, 5D. And the other 20 to 30% 3D. And, my wife definitely knows my 3D days, the days of the overwhelm, the reaction, the emotion. What I'm personally finding these days is the majority of my day is really spent in either 5D or neutrality. Now, if you've listened to my recent podcast episode, you'll know, actually, it was I think last week's one of distraction, of creating your reality within the mundane, right? And the fact that, for me personally, I'm always distracting myself. I'm listening to podcast episodes about true crime or weird glitches in the matrix, or I'm listening to music, or I'm listening to whatever, but it's a distraction. And it allows me to float. I'm not reacting to my reality. Therefore, I'm not creating a specific reality in the next moment, which means that anytime my intention is clear about what I want, it happens and manifests instantly, because my last moment was in neutrality, not in reaction or lower frequency. Does that make sense? Being in neutrality more often. Now, hopefully in Canada, on the property that we have, I can be in neutrality because I'm walking in the forest and I'm interacting with nature. And even me and my wife were walking our dog in LA, a couple days ago, and I ended up meeting a snail. And there was this snail on this leaf, and I picked him up, and his little eyes poked out to greet me, and I was like having this 5D moment with this snail in the middle of this busy sidewalk. My wife is talking to neighbors and our dog is meeting other dogs, and I'm just having this moment with this snail. And probably looked like a crazy hippie because I had my dream cloak on too. And it was beautiful. It literally brings tears to my eyes how beautiful that moment was. And those are the moments of neutrality, but also the moments of 5D. We need to realize that you are not all of a sudden astral traveling around the cosmos or floating on a cloud to be in 5D. Being in 5D means that you wake up in appreciation. It means that you have those moments of reaction and you can find the appreciation in those moments of reaction. That's what 5D is. You're never gonna know, really, who is in 5D or who is not, just by looking at them. And maybe you will because you're an empath and you're intuitive. All right? So we need to also transmute our idea of what 5D looks like, because I think that a lot of us have this glorious thing in mind. We could take a look at a homeless person and say, that person is in 5D, because ultimately their vibration is they don't need material things. They don't need a roof over their head to live their best life. Now, I'm usually a big teacher of get your foundations taken care of first before you can enter into a higher frequency. But if you feel like living in a tent on the side of the road is you getting your foundations taken care of, then that's the way that you perceive it. There is no one vision of 5D of this is 5D and this is not. It would go against all of my teachings of this is right and this is wrong. 5D looks different to everyone. As long as you're perceiving that you are living the best possible life for you, you're in 5D. All right? So hopefully that just kind of rearranges that. But this is a conversation that we need to have every once in a while to repivot the focus of, I'm not in 5D because I'm not living my best life because I have all of these bills to pay. You could pay the bills and still struggle with finances and still be in 5D in all of the other facets of your world, which allows you to transmute that final facet of finances into 5D as well. All right, so it's really important that we shift that focus and understand what that really means. All right, cool, good. Let's move on to R.E. Seds. Hopefully, Seeds? Seideds. All right. Okay, good. Another question here. What does it feel like when you astral travel? What does the body feel like? How do you know that you are doing it? Because I can imagine with ease going into another room, but I don't know if I've actually done it. All right, cool. I love this question. I love it. I love it. Okay. What does it feel like when I astral travel? Great question. I'm going to try and think about when I first started astral traveling. You know what? It's the same. When I first started astral traveling to right now, to being very experienced in astral traveling, it always really feels the same. My body feels nothing at all. And that's probably the most difficult part about astral traveling. There is no huge aha moment. There is no breakthrough in the matrix. There is no giant sensation that I go through when astral traveling. As a matter of fact, I need to make sure that my body is in a neutral place. For example, if I was starving. Now, nowadays, my elbow could be hurting and I could still astral travel, right? Like I'm able to really override sensations in my body. When I first started attempting to astral travel, any little sound, a dog barking, a door slamming, the lights turning on, anything would trigger me back into my body. Any pain of hunger, every thought of riding my motorcycle, anything would trigger me back into my body, and it would be extremely difficult to astral travel. These days, the world could be collapsing around me and I could still be traveling to another country or another planet or what have you, which is really beautiful. So it feels like nothing. It feels like nothing. Okay. The coolest part, actually, this was really awesome. Last night, Nat and I were going to bed and she's beside me. And for many years now, I have slept with an eye mask. There's just something about not being interrupted in my sleep with wearing an eye mask. I love sleeping with an eye mask. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And so last night, and so now she's really into it too. She loves it too. So last night we were going to bed. We both had our eye masks on. And she said to me, she's like, what does it mean when I open my eyes and I can see the room around me with my eye mask on? And I said, oh, I know exactly what you're doing. When I first started falling asleep with an eye mask many, many years ago, I started doing this as well. The eye mask is on. Your eyes are obviously closed. Even if you were to open your eyes, you would see black. You would see darkness. I started many years ago when I was really into astral traveling or starting astral traveling. I started going to sleep with my eyes closed. And then it was the most bizarre feeling ever. It felt like I was opening my eyes or even blinking. And at first I didn't recognize that I was doing this. And I thought I was just blinking my eyes before bed. And then I realized I'm not blinking my physical eyes at all. So how am I opening my eyes if I'm not opening my eyes? It was so bizarre. And then I started noticing that if I could open my eyes when my eyes were still closed, I could start to see the faint outlines of all of the furniture in the room. And I started to explain this to Nat last night. I said, can you see the outline of furniture in the room? And she said, yeah. And I said, it kind of looks like it's all black, but then there's kind of faint, colorful outlines, like maybe the TV looks like a faint green outline, but it's still all black. And she's like, yes, that's exactly what I'm seeing. This is the beginning stages of astral traveling. So I explained it to her last night. When you start to blink your eyes while your eyes are closed, that is your astral body blinking. That is still in your physical body. It is so bizarre. It is so, so bizarre. And then I told her, now think about going to another room. Think about going to the living room. Think about going to the patio. And I said, in that moment, when you think about going there, you end up there. And then I said, typically you'll see flashes. Like when you're first starting off, you're going to see flashes of where you're at. Now, in order to see flashes of where you're astral traveling to, your mind needs to be very quiet, right? Which means that you need to make sure that you're fed and you're not thirsty and you're not tired and you're not all of these things. You need to be in a neutral, objective place. But your physical body will not feel anything at all when you're astral traveling. I don't feel anything. I literally leave my body. I could have a full conversation with all of you right now and go astral travel somewhere else and just drift along. I used to do that in university all the time. I would be in a lecture taking notes from my professor, just on autopilot programming, taking notes, and I'd be flying, like whirling around the room, loop-de-loop. I'd be spying on other people's laptops and the notes and the Facebooks that they were on. I mean, it was really wild. It was a really, really good time. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more about astral traveling. I mean, obviously, I want to develop a whole course around this eventually, one thing at a time. I do want to say that we are moving forward on the V course. I'm so happy to have these experiences in my life, like the massage therapist last night who got the V, to practice and utilize my skills. So I'm super, super happy about that, and it's all working out really well. So hopefully in June we'll be releasing that. All right, next question here. We've got 2 questions left. All right, Adriana Q. Hi, EA. I would like to know if the sun has a soul and if you can check in with him. I would like to know what he has to say. Amazing. I've never been asked this question before. A ton of you upvoted it, so thank you for this. Yeah, I've never tuned into the sun's energy ever. So this is going to be really fun. Let's see if I can go ahead, astral travel over there, talk to it, see what it has to say. I don't know. I love new experiences. All right, 1 second. Mm-hmm. 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 Interesting. Okay, wow. Okay, so I went over there. The energy coming off the sun was so intense. Like sometimes I go right to the core of a planet to talk to the soul of the planet. And this time I could only be on the outside of it, like quite a distance away, because it was just pouring out. So fascinating. It definitely is a divine masculine energy. And believe it or not, feeling the vibration and the soul of the sun feels extremely similar to a tree. It was just, that's instantly what I felt. Like these old, like hundreds, if not thousands of years old, like trees have this like kind of like an old grandfatherly energy type vibration. And that's exactly what the sun felt like. Just old, like an old grandfather energy, very wise. Like even the words that he chose or the energies, obviously I'm translating the energies that he's giving me into words, but it was just all very like slow and stoic and just wise and well thought out. It was just very interesting. Oh yeah, he also said too, he said, this is a nice surprise because no one really ever talks to me. So I'm like, aw, we'll have to tap into the sun more often. He said there's a lot of activity on all of the other planets. Even the moon, like Earth's moon, has a lot of activity, but the sun just, no one really ever talks to him. So I thought that was really, really beautiful. What else did he say? Oh yeah, so I asked him, I said, you're really old. Like, is there a chance that you're going to be dying anytime soon? Or I asked him, is there a chance that your soul is going to leave and a new soul is going to come in, similar to planet Earth? Because now obviously we know that that's a thing from the last Galactic Federation meeting. And he said, no. He said he's in it for the long haul and he's going to be there for quite some time, and he's not passing away anytime soon or leaving the sun anytime soon. And he was also explaining and talking to me about what he has seen in his lifetime. And it's cool because this is what I see as well from trees. It's like they give me their perspective of the world flashing and going on around them. I also get this a lot as well from spirits and souls who are either stuck here in buildings or who are on the other side. They'll give me like a 2-second entire life flash of all of the activity that has gone on around them as the observer in their existence. I love it. I love when they do that. So he did that, and like he was showing me like planets forming and different like just swirling of energies, and I guess cosmic dust and gravitational pulls, and then all of the spaceships too that have gone on around him. Like it was just so much activity in his lifetime, so beautiful and profound. And then I asked him, I said, so planet Earth, what do you think about planet Earth? And it was so funny because from his perspective, okay, the sun's perspective is so bizarre. Planet Earth is it's like a little speck. That's what it looks like. It's like quite a distance away from the sun. And so I said, yeah, what do you think about planet Earth? Do you have any like news or information for us? And the sun said, oh yeah, what did he say specifically? I just want to get the words because I think it was very important. Yeah. Okay, I can't get the word that he used. I can't bring that back, but it was literally, he showed me this image of the vibration, kind of like looking like the aura of planet Earth. And he was talking about the vibrational pulses that the Earth is emitting right now, and he said that it was part planet Earth and part humanity on planet Earth that's emitting these gigantic vibrational waves or pulses. And he said that he can feel, like he understands the transition that Earth is going through because he feels the vibrational pulses that are being emitted. And he said that planet Earth, even though it's quite a small planet, from his perspective, it is creating these energetic and vibrational shifts around the rest of the solar system, which is really cool. So he just said, however he can support and give back to planet Earth, he's going to. And then he also says that he does speak with or connect with the Galactic Federation quite a bit in understanding where his energy is at as a physical kind of planet or I guess star, and where the solar system is at. So very interesting. Very interesting. We're going to have to tune into the sun more often. He's got a lot to say, and he's got a very unique and very cool perspective. Yeah, it's just so fascinating. Very cool. Thank you so much, Adriana, for that beautiful question. I love it. This is what I love, the Q&As, This is why I love doing them, just because I learn something new every single time. I don't really have the time in my own life to ask these like riveting questions, All right. Okay, yeah. So let's go over to Emma Laham. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Okay, hi EA. I was wondering if you can tap into what is going on in Haiti. For over 30 years, we've seen an insufferable amount of violence and corruption here, especially during the last 3 years, where kidnappings, violence, looting, rioting, gangs, rebelling in the streets is just a normal day for us. Many healers and psychics in Haiti always talk about the gifts that Haiti has and how magical and spiritual the land is. And recently they have mentioned a portal that has been open with bad entities taking over. I know Haiti has been a favorable destination for the Clintons where they've performed many rituals. I was just wondering if you can tap into the subject, please. It breaks my heart to see so much pain and suffering in my country. Will we ever see the light? Thank you. Awesome. Okay, let's tune into Haiti. And there are questions about different locations all over the world that I get every single week. What I'm thinking is that hopefully when life settles down a bit for me, we'll just kind of have to see where things go. Maybe we'll do a once a month portal activation video that's just free, where we get all of you, the team, the light workers, the warriors, the light weapons, we get you all together. Not only can you practice working with your light weapons, but we can practice astral traveling together as a team, and you can really tune and hone in on your abilities. And I heard from a lot of you that the battle at Buckingham actually really activated a lot of your light weapons and your abilities and your astral traveling capabilities as well. So I'm hoping that if we do this more and more often, and I kind of guide and direct you guys, we can not only help heal the planet and these portals, but we can help activate each other. So I'm just going to plant the seed for future activities and experiences, and hopefully that can be my part in giving back just a little bit. So let's take a look at Haiti, and maybe we can put Haiti on a list for activating, deactivating, reactivating the portal that's there in a higher frequency. So just 1 second. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay, cool. So, absolutely, there is a portal in Haiti, a big one, and it is dark, and it's been dark for a very long time. I don't really see that this portal is in necessarily like a place of significance. Like I don't see a mountain, I don't see a giant building. I see that it's really kind of in the middle of like a city center, or like it's very like hustle bustle, but it's not like prominent exactly where this is, if that makes sense. But wow, the entities, like the just like the tar, the gunk, the darkness that's there is like, it's overwhelming. Then I started seeing portals in other places all over the world. I went to a place in Asia. I went to a place in like, it felt like it was like, like South America. Like there's all these other portals that are all also being taken over by the dark. And then I was reminded of the portal in like Russia, Siberia kind of area. So wild. And then I was reminded of all of the portal work that me and my dad did in North America, right? Driving around basically America and all of these sacred sites. Now, the information that came through was a little bit about portals in general. And basically, it's so fascinating. Okay, take it or leave it, as always. North America, America especially, has had influence over the rest of the world for a reason. mostly because A, it's been a breeding ground for the, negative, corrupt elites. But B, it's had some of the biggest portals here that have been taken over by the corrupt elites that are also influencing the rest of the world. Now, before we can heal the entire world and take back our power and transmute the portals in the rest of the world, we need to heal North America. What is the number one biggest catastrophe, destruction, darkness that has happened in North America in human history? It's been the killing and the genocide of the indigenous and the shamans. This is a topic that I am very empowered about. I feel very fiery about this topic. I have had many lifetimes on both ends of that scale and that battle. This country, this continent, has been absolutely devastated by the effects of the genocide of the indigenous and the losing of that ancient knowledge. And now, especially, me and my dad and so many other light workers, grid workers, healers that I know about, a lot of you guys have been doing the work on portals, the ley lines, the meridians. You've been reactivating things, and you've been taking back that ancient knowledge, and you've been healing the indigenous lands, which is very fascinating. And so by all of us doing the work together and healing those lands together, we are essentially clearing the trauma that has happened in North America. We're neutralizing the vibration. If anything, we're pivoting the vibration into the 5D frequency. And now we have the ability as light workers, grid workers, and healers to go to the rest of the planet and to heal them. Going to Buckingham Palace, clearing the portal there, going to Haiti, going to China, going to these other places and clearing the energy and the portals there. But we had to start with North America. And yeah, so this is really fascinating. I am so excited to have all of you to do the portal work. I definitely want to plant a seed and say, we need to do this. We need to come together more often and do this. And like I said, I just upgraded the Zoom account. We can have more people in the Zoom room and we can have more people live doing this together. Whether you show up live or not, your vibration is there. We're calling in hundreds of thousands of souls, angels, reptilian rebels. We're calling in other souls, light workers around the planet to help us. Let's knock it out one portal at a time, one location at a time. And I want to say, I know, Lauren, that you're here, that you're listening to this and moderating this. Please write a note that we're going to start writing down locations that come up naturally and organically that feel aligned and right of locations, basically locations on a backlog of giant portals that we can basically take back over energetically and win the battle. Haiti is one of them, and there's a couple more in my mind that are on the list. So please don't contact us about that. But maybe in the Q&A questions that you're asking every week, maybe you want to suggest some locations, and then we'll see if the community upvotes that and see how that resonates with me, and then we can add that to the list, and every month we can get that going. Probably not until June, because May is just completely chaos for me. So that being said, thank you all once again so much for being here. As always, I just wake up in appreciation every single day for this community and for the fact that I'm able to speak this amount of insane information to you guys, and you're right there with an open mind. Whether you want to take it all in or not, that's okay, but I appreciate you. And I'm ready to change the entire planet, to open their mind, to get them thinking about other dimensions, different interdimensional beings, and the power that we have as hybrid beings. I am ready to go. The world is ready. You guys are ready, and we are doing this together. And I couldn't be here doing what I'm doing without all of you. So as always, I have so much love in my heart, so much appreciation in my vibration, even in my not so great days, for each and every one of you. So Don't expect that you're going to be in 5D all the time, and definitely do not hide away from aspects of the agenda that are making you feel fearful, all right? This is a time to step up, to put all of your spiritual practices to good use, to utilize the power that you have, and to really enter into this vibration of light and unconditional love. That is what my mother has showed me my entire life, and that is what I plan on showing all of you every single day. So happy Mother's Day to all of the beautiful mothers out there. I appreciate all of you. I can't wait to be one myself, and I'm sending so much love to my own mama and all of the mamas out there. Bye for now, and until next time, sending you all so much love. More videos and interviews are going to be released this week on YouTube and on Instagram. Bye everyone. Have a good rest of your Sunday.